Welcome to another episode of the mainstream media claims that video games are from some evil artifact and must be destroyed. Seriously, it's 2016. Video games are a welcomed form of media at this point, but yet the mainstream media would argue otherwise. A lot of you have wanted me to watch this video, so without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what's coming out of the top newsroom of CNN.
And then there's this. A 12-year-old boy loves his video games, lives, of all places, in Newtown, Connecticut.
Stop the video! Let's take a look at this caption right here. Newtown kids dump video games. Boy starts movement, played out, choose not to play. I have a small hunch that hashtag choose not to play is not going to become a very large and active movement. There are a lot of people out there that like to play their video games. I don't think the hashtag choose not to play is going to be a very successful movement. Just a hunch.
But he decided just this week he didn't want to kill anyone in just a game. He wants other kids to do the same. A young man joins me now, Max Goldstein, along with his stepbrother Jackson Middleton, stepdad Craig Middleton. So all three of you.
Oh my God. Let's just take a look at this scene here. Let's just cherish this moment right here. We've got three people, an older adult standing in the middle of two boys, standing next to a trash can with what appears to be video games on top of it. My imagination is just running wild at this point. I wonder what is going to happen here. Are they choosing to recycle video games? Is this an environmental message that's about to be presented here? I just don't know what's about to happen.
But you guys are trying to take a negative perhaps here and turn it into a positive. Max, let me begin with you. Why do you want to get rid of some of your video games?
We wanted to get rid of the video games because...
Man, I tell you what, this is the best audio for a live on-the-air interview. Whose idea on the interview team did they think was a good idea to stand right next to a loud running river? Seriously, this audio is terrible. This is not a small town local news station, guys. This is CNN. I expect better quality than this.
We feel that it's negatively affecting some of the minds and feelings of the youth of this nation, and we just wanted to change that.
Wow, Max, those are some pretty adult words here for a 12-year-old.
Wow, Max, those are some pretty adult words coming from a 12-year-old. It's not like those words actually originated from an adult that told him to say these things. That would be ridiculous. Seriously, this just blows away my mind. I can't believe this is taking place right now. This father has convinced and brainwashed his children to destroy their own video games live on the air. He's even given them proper lines to speak.
We feel that it's negatively affecting some of the minds and feelings of the youth of this nation.
So you decided that this is not right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Jackson?
Yeah, don't give Max any actual time to answer that question. Just let him say things like, pretty much. Just go ahead and put words in his mouth that fit the agenda that all video games are violent. So if you could just not actually answer that and just say things like, pretty much, perfect.
This movement that you guys have started, this is called Played Out. Choose not to play. I see you have some video games next to you. What are you doing with them? What are you doing with them?
News anchor, don't do this. You guys screened this story beforehand. You know what is going down. Otherwise, you wouldn't be airing this right now. You know what is about to go down. Those video games are sitting on top of a trash can. Don't pretend and act like you don't know what is about to happen. A part of me genuinely hopes that that is not a trash can. Maybe it's a giant donation bin. Maybe this is a Toys for Tots type situation. Maybe they're donating these video games to less fortunate kids that can't afford to buy expensive video games. But that's my hope. That's probably not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to throw them away. They're going to throw away expensive video games that other kids would die to have. That's what's going to happen.
Well, what we're going to do with these games is we're going to put them in this container, and we're planning to have our local garbage company destroy them.
You're not only giving up the games, you are literally having them destroyed. Is that right?
Did you guys hear how surprised that news anchor was? I mean, it's not like they totally pre-screened this entire story and practically rehearsed it ahead of time. No, they said they're destroying the video games, and that is a huge shocker. I I mean, if anything, the father of these kids looks like a complete tool right now, okay? Because you're the person who probably bought these games for them in the first place. So why are you making a big scene about destroying them? We're going to go on the news and broadcast how horrible parents we are and force my kids to destroy the games that I bought for them.
Yes, that is right.
How many games have you collected so far? Do you have any idea?
None so far, but we've...
He's right
Well,
here.
right now, all we have is these games, but we're planning to get a lot more.
Okay, I'm actually confused right now. Those are the video games that they own that they're going to destroy. But they're still going to go out and collect more? Who buys a video game just to destroy it? That doesn't make any sense.
Stepdad Craig, let me ask you. I mean, just so I'm clear, this is not something you said to your kids, hey, this is the right thing to do. I mean, this is coming from them. Is that right?
It's coming from them. I think that this is probably something to consider taking out of the home. And I think the kids got the message, and they decided to universally pick up all the mature violence games. And Max came up with this brilliant idea.
That's right, guys. The dad had nothing to do with this. This is all the kids' decision. I'm sure it's the kids that called CNN to set up this entire thing. Not the father. It was the kids that set up this entire thing. It's not like only adults have a political agenda. No. It's obviously the children. The kids have a political agenda, not the adults.
And when we thought maybe this is something that can catch the attention of other kids in other communities. And I'm a big advocate of thinking globally and acting locally, and I hope that this triggers the minds of other parents and mostly other kids. They decided to universally pick up all the mature violence games.
I guess we can probably assume, at least for their benefit, that most of the games sitting on top of that trash can are games that are rated M. Let's just say that some of those games right there are some of the most violent video games that you can purchase. The ESRB, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, even states on their website that rated M games are suitable for ages 17 and up because they may contain intense violence. So let's just set the record straight. You as the parent went out to the store and willfully bought and purchased a rated M game, a game that is suitable for kids of the age of 17, and you gifted it to your 12-year-old son and are now complaining that the game is too violent. So to make your point, you are going on a news station and destroying the video games that you should have not purchased for your 12-year-old son in the first place, and complaining that the games are too violent for your 12-year-old son. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Craig, I just have to ask a question that I know many of the viewers are wondering now, though. I mean, if we're talking some of these video games, they're violent, they're mature rating, you have to be 17 to buy them. And just let me ask you, why were you buying them for your boys in the first place?
We bought these games. I think our kids are kind, they're generous, they're compassionate. I think the spirit of this particular event in and of itself demonstrates that, and I think that we have to be honest with ourselves, and I think we have to be honest with America, that there are parents and kids that play these games throughout the country, never with the intention that any of these are going to have an impact on their kids acting aggressively or violently. I actually somewhat rebuff the comments today by the NRA that these are the direct and sole causal factor of the kind of violence we're dealing with. But I think our kids want to make a statement, and we talked about this, that I don't think that there's any one of the parents or brothers or sisters or uncles who could play one of these games who's been recently victimized. And this is a way that we are standing by them. And I think it's a way that the country can stand by them.
That was the longest answer to what I think was the most simple question asked in this entire interview.
Max and Jackson, just my final question to you. If we're talking about violent video games, how do you feel about violent movies?
I think violent movies are just the same. They have the same cause as these games, and they don't really do anything different than these games do.
Now, Jackson actually just made a very good point. Video games are a lot like movies because just like video games, movies have a rating system. Let's take a hypothetical approach to this, okay? Let's look at the movie equivalent to this situation. Let's say Jackson's father, Jackson's 12 years old, Jackson's father buys Jackson a ticket to go see a rated R movie. Jackson comes home later that evening. He's totally traumatized from the content that was in the movie because the movie's rated R. It contained content not suitable for Jackson's age. Now, does Jackson's dad, A, regret his decision buying his son a ticket to go see a rated R movie and accept his bad parenting? Or does Jackson's father call up the local news station and demand that the local movie theater take down the movie because it contained content not suitable for the age of his son? I think you can take a wild guess what the actual conclusion to that story would be.
Max, what are you going to do with your free time now that you're not playing these games?
Could you repeat that, actually?
No, I know that creak right there is very loud. What if you're throwing away your video games? How are you going to spend your free time now?
Well, I'm gonna spend my free time by spending more time with my friends. They live probably like 5 minutes away from us.
I'm going to spend more time with my friends who have parents that don't make them destroy their video games and just play video games at their house. That's the vibe I'm getting from that answer right there.
Like spend more time studying, I guess.
Spend more time studying. I hear Craig chuckling a little bit. That's not a bad thing, Max. Max Goldstein, Jackson, and Craig Middleton, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
So let's sit back and observe what the overall conclusion for this video was. Was the conclusion that all video games that contain violence be destroyed? Or is this the story of a man who made a bad parenting move and instead of admitting to it, went to the extreme lengths to contact a national news station, go on the air, and mask their bad parenting as some sort of choose not to play movement? Unreal.